The most intense Arctic blast of 2025 is coming, and it's going to bring life-threatening cold and more snow to the United States. A bitter and long-lasting Arctic blast is set to impact dozens of states over the next few days, delivering the kind of life-threatening temperatures we almost never see. Wind chills could crash to 50 degrees below zero, and actual air temperatures may plunge to 30 degrees below zero across parts of the Midwest. This isn't just an uncomfortable cold. This is the type of outbreak that can shatter records, strain infrastructure, and create immediate danger for anyone exposed. The Arctic blast may dominate the forecast, but snow will remain a lingering threat. At least 2 more rounds of moderate to heavy snowfall will streak across the northern plains, Midwest, and Ohio Valley over the next few days. It's another classic Alberta Clipper. Which means it'll be quick-moving, sneaky, and perfectly timed to make travel even more hazardous in the middle of this deep freeze. The weather pattern favors more of these clippers lining up behind it, meaning we could be dealing with several problematic snow events stacked on top of the extreme cold. So in today's forecast, we are going to break down exactly what you need to know about this record-shattering weather pattern that is developing right now. And we are going to begin with breaking news in the Pacific Northwest. We are about to see a catastrophic flooding event occur across Washington and Oregon. Believe it or not, up to 100,000 Washington residents could be evacuated today. That is because we are expecting an additional 3 to 5 inches of rain on top of what we've already seen over the last few days. If you look at this map here, you can actually see in the pink, that is an area where catastrophic flooding impacts are likely today. That does include areas just outside of Seattle. Also, considerable flooding impacts are likely anywhere from northwest Washington back over towards Olympia, just to the north of Vancouver, and then more minor impacts are expected in the light blue. The reason why I'm starting this video off with this is that it is breaking news, and this is an evolving situation, and we could have major river flooding for the next 24 to 36 hours, and this could be at record levels. And this is a closer view to give you an idea of where catastrophic flooding is expected today here across the Pacific Northwest. It's already getting really bad, and it's only going to get worse as we go throughout the daytime today. Areas like Everett and Mount Vernon, you guys are in that catastrophic area where catastrophic river flooding is expected today, where you see those purple box, that is where we're expecting major flood levels to be achieved, and it may even get higher than that. So make sure if you're anywhere in these areas, take evacuation orders seriously. And if you're under any sort of evacuation order, get out of there. This is a very dangerous situation that is currently evolving in the Pacific Northwest. And this is how much rain we are expecting to fall here over the next 24 to 36 hours. Most of this will be throughout the rest of this morning into the early afternoon. But again, notice we are talking about a widespread 3 to 5 inches of rain. Many areas, though, will get upwards of 6 to 7 inches of rain. Again, very dangerous situation evolving right now in the Pacific Northwest, especially in Washington. Please make sure to take this seriously. And if you have any friends or family out here, make sure that they're aware of this. Share this video. Get the word out there. This is a very dangerous situation, though. Now, shifting gears back to our historic winter weather pattern that is developing right now in the United States, we obviously have the major flooding that is happening in the Pacific Northwest. But to go on top of that, we are about to see a record-shattering Arctic blast across the Midwest and the northern plains. So let's talk more about it. This is what our jet stream looks like right now. These are upper-level winds. We have a very strong little dip in our jet stream that is located across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley today. This is already ushering in colder air, but it's only going to get more intense as we go into Friday and Saturday. That is because right now our strongest area of winds is actually coming out of the west, and it's not really coming out of the heart of Canada, which is more in southwestern Canada. So once we go into Friday and Saturday, our jet stream is going to be more angled out of the northwest, and this is going to transport tons of cold air from Canada across the northern plains, the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and back into the mid-Atlantic, where frigid weather is going to become a big concern as we go into Saturday and Sunday. The dip of the jet stream will be a lot more northerly as we go into late Saturday and Sunday, and that is when the absolute coldest of this air is going to arrive, and that is when life-threatening cold is going to be on the table across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, and the Dakotas. So make sure that you're ready for that. We are going to see widespread sub-zero temperatures. And then by Sunday and Monday, that dip in the jet stream will be mainly across the East Coast, where we're expecting a widespread area of below-average temperatures from New England and the Great Lakes back into Florida and Georgia. And then by the middle of next week, we're going to have a big change in our weather pattern. For the first time in a while, our jet stream is going to lift very far off to the north, which means anywhere down in the central or southern United States is likely going to be dealing with above-average temperatures again, and this is going to be widespread by the middle and end of next week, which means that we are going to be dealing with some really warm weather right before Christmas, and that could actually alleviate some of the bigger winter storms until Christmas time, which again Christmas could actually feature some snow this year, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Now when we talk about extreme cold, it is really going to be extreme. This is what it looks like right now. We already have below average temperatures all across the Midwest, Great Lakes and Northeast, and even down into Florida. We have temperatures as low as about 10 degrees below average. But this is not the worst of it. It's going to get a lot worse as we go into Saturday. And then as all that Arctic air starts to move just north of the Rockies, it's all going to transport into the northern United States Friday afternoon and evening. Temperatures will already be falling upwards of 30 degrees below average in Montana, the Dakotas, and also Minnesota. But again, it's going to get a lot worse on Saturday. That is when we're going to have below average temperatures really hammer Minnesota and Wisconsin. Many areas, including areas near Fort Worth, Fargo and Grand Forks, will be as much as 45 to 50 degrees below average. It is going to get crazy Saturday, and then Sunday is going to be a whole lot worse. We're talking about a widespread area across Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Nebraska with temperatures as much as 30 to 50 degrees below average. So a very sharp cold blast is going to be making its way here across the Midwest both Saturday and Sunday. But by far, Sunday is going to be the worst day for most of you. And then by Monday and Tuesday, we're still dealing with extreme cold all across the Ohio Valley, the Southeast, and really up and down the East Coast with temperatures as much as 10 to 20 degrees below average. Tuesday and Wednesday, that cold air will continue to sit here across the East Coast, but it's going to get a lot warmer by the end of next week as temperatures will start to really warm up. This is going to be a big flip in our weather pattern. We're going to have widespread temperatures as much as 10 to 25 degrees above average all across the Midwest, the Northeast, and really all across the United States, which means if you have snow on the ground, a lot of that is going to be melting across the Midwest by the end of next week. Now, in terms of how cold it is actually going to get, these are the temperatures that are forecasted for Friday morning. Most of the Midwest and the Northern Plains, mostly in the single digits, a few sub-zero areas are possible. But as we go into Saturday, that is when it's going to get a lot colder. Saturday morning, we're expecting widespread area with sub-zero temperatures, including areas like Grand Forks and Fargo, right around 20 degrees below zero. Back over Minneapolis, about 8 degrees below zero. And then back over near Green Bay, we're going to be about 7 degrees below zero. By Sunday morning, it's going to be a lot worse. We're talking about temperatures as much as 30 to 35 degrees below zero. And I do want to point out, at least in the lower elevations, we've had really no areas this year that have reached 30 degrees below zero in the United States. So this is already really challenging some of the coldest weather that we've seen in the last 2 years in the United States, not just talking about this year, but even the last 2 years. So back over in northwest Minnesota, we could see some areas near negative 30 to negative 32 degrees. Extreme cold there. Also across Chicago and back toward Springfield, Illinois, right around 0 degrees in those areas. And the temperatures for Sunday afternoon, they might not even get above zero for some of you. Back over in Minneapolis, we're forecasting a high temperature. Yes, a high temperature of negative 2 degrees. Back over in Chicago, about 14. Green Bay coming in at a whopping 11. And then by Monday, we're going to have some sub-zero temperatures making their way into Indiana and Ohio, with our freezing line going as far south as almost Jacksonville, Florida, also impacting areas near Tallahassee and right down towards New Orleans. And then as we go into late Monday and Tuesday, it's going to start to warm back up again, but it's going to stay cold at least through Tuesday. And by Wednesday and Thursday of next week, look at all that warm air that'll start to lift to the north. It is going to get a lot warmer across Nebraska. Many of you will be having 60s and 70s for high temperatures next week, which could get close to record-breaking in terms of high temperatures, and even some 80s across Texas on Thursday. And then after that, things get a little bit more uncertain. If you're wondering how it's actually going to feel outside when we factor in the wind, it is going to feel even colder than the actual temperatures all across the Midwest. We are talking about a widespread area with wind chills between 20 to 40 degrees below zero. This is extremely dangerous temperatures. Do not go outside without layers on. This is going to be very cold again on Sunday morning, and it's going to last all day Sunday. For most of you in the Midwest, you guys will all feel sub-zero literally all day for Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, and the Dakotas. Again, very dangerous stuff here. Please make sure you bundle up. Frostbite is a real concern out there. Any exposed could get frostbite within only about 5 to 10 minutes. If we zoom in here, this is a pocket back over in Fargo and Grand Forks in North Dakota, that could be near 50 degrees below zero for a feel-like temperature for Sunday morning. So again, extremely cold out here. Minneapolis, even about 30 to 35 degrees below zero. Make sure you're bundled up. It is going to be very, very cold all day Sunday and really all day Saturday as well. Now let's talk more about the snow and ice that is coming to the United States over the next few days. And I want to begin with what is happening today. We already have a lot of freezing rain and snow falling across the Dakotas. In fact, there's actually an ice storm warning in effect in parts of northern South Dakota right now, as upwards of 1.25 inches of ice is possible here over the next few hours. As we go later into this morning into the early afternoon, that snow is going to spread across Minnesota and Iowa, including Des Moines, back over near Minneapolis, where some light snow falls in play. But the heaviest stuff is going to be falling this afternoon across Iowa, Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and back into Indiana, where we are expecting a pretty decent period here of heavy snow. It's going to last around 3 to 6 hours and will not be nearly as long as our winter storm a couple weeks back, but nonetheless, this is going to be some decent snowfall. It'll go on top of what we've already seen. So right around 6 to 7 o'clock tonight, just after rush hour, we'll have some light to moderate snow falling near the Chicago area. Also back over west of Milwaukee, near Madison, and then also in eastern parts of Iowa near Davenport. Light to moderate snow will continue. Heaviest snow will be located from southern Indiana. What is left over, though, will fall across Virginia, very far southern Maryland, and even near Delaware before eventually fizzling out by Friday afternoon. And then eventually, as we go into Friday evening, some lake effect snow will try to take over across Michigan. Not expecting anything too significant there on Friday, but Saturday should be a bit more concentrated for some lake effect snow back over in far western New York, just to the south of Buffalo. And then yet again, another shot of snow Saturday afternoon across parts of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and as well as Kentucky. This is basically the same area that we are talking about snow for today into early tomorrow. And even though these two Alberta Clippers are not really going to be reaching winter storm levels for most of you, we will definitely at least get around 4 to 8 inches of snow when both of these are all said and done as we go into late Saturday and early Sunday for much of Illinois, Indiana, and even eastern Iowa. Now, in terms of total snowfall accumulation, we are expecting a widespread 2 to 6 inches of snow across Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky out of this first Alberta Clipper. And once the second one comes in, we are expecting at least another 3 to 6 inches of snow across eastern Iowa, central Illinois, and western Indiana. So, again, a decent amount of snow here over these next few days. Again, it's going to be split up. This is not all falling at once. We're going to have two different storm systems, but nonetheless, a decent amount of snow on the way here for the next few days. And then beyond this weekend, the weather is going to get a little bit quieter for much of the United States. But the Pacific Northwest, unfortunately, will continue to get hammered by rain during the early to middle portion of next week. Things do not look good right now for the Pacific Northwest all the way through the middle of next week. And then eventually by around Thursday and Friday of next week, a small little storm system will likely pass just north of the United States. I'm really not seeing any major winter storms on the horizon for any of the lower 48 until around Christmas. That might be the next time where snow makes a big return, but at least for right now, it looks to be much quieter.